Good morning. Welcome to All Spiritual Life Center's live Facebook feed. We are grateful to be here on this beautiful autumn day. Although here in Dayton, Ohio, it still feels like summer's hanging on a little bit, but that's okay. Next week, we're talking temperatures in the 70s and some lows in the 40s, so I'm excited for all of that. It's my favorite time of year. Good morning, Erwin. Welcome. So, Micah is over there, Reverend Micah is over there, inviting everybody to wake up and come see us. So today we are going to celebrate the season a little bit, and we are going to change our declarations today. So we were, through September, we were working with the principles of spiritism, not spiritualism, but spiritism. We started with spiritualism. Today, we are going to honor the season of the witch. So we are going to do the 13 tenets of witchcraft. Because here at All Spiritual Life Center, there's no taboo. We like to find that interconnectedness that all major religions, as well as spiritual traditions, teach us. And to break down misconceived barriers and propaganda that has been surrounded by some of these faiths, to show that they're not much different from each other. They just have different terminology, or just maybe a different way of ritual or ceremony, and that's okay. You know, none of us do it exactly the same. I mean, even in the Christian tradition, we're not doing it the exact same way as the master teacher was teaching us. So adaptation is okay. We are here to personalize that which is divine, and the only way we can personalize it is to find it within ourselves and allow it to come forward and share with us on how we need to do it for our own personal growth. And everybody's a little bit different. We all have our unique qualities, and we have our unique ways of doing things. Some of us are very ritualistic, some of us are very ceremony, and some of us are very simple. And sometimes it's just uttering a quiet prayer into that person. It can be as elaborate as any sort of Sunday morning Catholic ceremony. So we're grateful that you're here, and you're grateful that you're here to join us. And I'm excited. I'm excited for today. I'm excited for the season. We've got a lot going on here at All Spiritual Life Center. We'll have Message in the Park at, let me think. Remember the name of it.
Sugar Creek Metro Park.
Yeah, that's it. Sugar Creek Metro Park on October 19th. We're going to have an apple bob. We're going to have a 50-50 raffle. It'll be $20 for, and we'll have our readers there, of course, and it'll be $20 for one reader. And then you have access to everything else that we're doing. Or $50, and you will have up to 6 readers, so you'll get to make your choice on the 5 readers that you would like to sit down with. So that's a pretty good deal right there. One-on-one sittings, about 15-20 minutes each, you know, depending on our time frame. And it's just, we know it's just going to be a beautiful autumn day. We're going to have drummers there. We're going to have healing under a tree, and all the proceeds are a fundraiser so that we can have more money in All Spiritual Life Center's accounts, so that we can finally start looking for that brick and mortar. So hopefully by spring we'll have enough funds to be able to find that place where we can all gather together under one roof and feel the energy and raise the energy and create the magic of being together as a community of like-minded people, and furthering the great work here on the planet of unfoldment of consciousness. That's our mission. That's what we're here to do. So we're excited about all that. It is now 10:30. So I've already said the beginning announcements. Good morning, Larry. So let's let ourselves just kind of start relaxing in and breathing deep. We've already said our good mornings and our welcomes, and we're feeling good and alive. It is good to be alive, isn't it? Let yourself settle into that feeling of aliveness. No matter what's going on in your life right now, you're alive. You're in the manifested form. This world can be your tapestry for creating the life you would like to live and the being that you're here to become. We all have this purpose laying dormant within us until we can tap it. And the only way we can tap that is to go within and find that common seed that resonates within each and every one of us. Every one of us has the divine spark because we're alive. That breath, let it fill you up. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start with our invocation. Our invocation, as we light this candle, is about the oneness that each and every one of us are. And while we each have our unique facets and we have our unique purpose and missions, together, when we come together, it's not separateness. It's coming together for the fulfillment of the great work, for the fulfillment of expanding consciousness. And when we can realize the interconnectedness instead of seeing the separation and finding the oneness, then we can create a whole new world. We can do amazing things together. And each one of us is like a cog in the great machine. And, without that unique ability that each one of us has, the machine doesn't work. And this is the time period of coming together to remember that each of us is a cell in the great body of the universe. And each one of us is necessary. Each one of us has a different function. And each one of us can contribute to the unfoldment of consciousness. It's amazing to be alive, right? Take that deep breath again. Come on, let's feel it. All right, so now let's close our eyes and let's settle into that aliveness. Settle into that oneness. There's a grand orchestrator, grand creator that created all manifested worlds. It is the breath of life that each and every one of us breathes that is abundant on our planet to sustain us. And only something that we cannot comprehend, but yet have an idea of, could create such an amazing world, can create life. We as humans, we can duplicate, but we can't create the authenticity of the beginning of life. So let us honor that which breathed the oxygen upon this planet for us to breathe. Let's honor that which created the universe and the planets and the solar systems. We didn't do it, but we get to experience it because of the love that is backed behind that creation. So that through our eternal experience of existence, we can experience all things and continue the unfoldment of that consciousness to become into the one perfection of oneness, of that which is the great creator, both mother and father. It goes by 10,000 names of each gender, of light and darkness. Allow that to fill you, breathe you, align you with the natural rhythm of life. And we light this candle in honor of that light and of that celebration. And that we share in the flame of the sacred, no matter what you call it. And it is there for each one of us to light our own personal candles so that we can become the one flame, the one life. Let's take refuge in that understanding. And let's allow that to be what lives and breathes us so that we can awaken to the mission and the purpose that we personally came to bring our uniqueness to. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you for this experience, for this life, for this eternity. And together we say, so mote it be. Right. Well, like I said today, we are going to read the, got chain glasses here for this, but I'm doing my reading glasses. The 13 Tenets of Witchcraft to honor the season of the witch. We all hear that the autumn season is the season of the witch. And we're going to explore some of that this month, this coming month in October, and maybe shed some new light on what it means to be a witch and what it means about magic and all of those things that so many, unfortunately, so many traditions try to taboo or they try to stamp out. I mean, look at our history. All the wisdom keepers seem to have fallen to some pretty bad ends, okay, throughout the world. We're here to reconcile that. We're here to forgive that too, because in ignorance, you know, you can't hold somebody forever in resentment, and because it just hurts you in their ignorance. You know, you have to understand that at some point in time, all of us have gone through the forgetfulness of what it means to be a wise one, to be able to bend to the laws, the natural laws, and be able to get into the rhythm and the harmony of these natural laws and be able to use them in the service of the great goddess as well as the great God. So this month we are going to explore what it means to be a witch and expose some of those false beliefs about us and hopefully bring forward some of that unification of how we are not much different in a lot of ways. We just tend to lean to more of the natural rhythms of things instead of getting out of sync. That's all. All right. So the first one, I'm taking this from Uncle Bucky. I met this man 3 times. He was larger than life and he was amazing. And I know he's watching us now on the other side and probably laughing at himself a little bit, but we're taking it from the Big Blue Book of Raymond Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. And if you are a starter in the craft, I truly recommend this book. I truly recommend this book. It's a safe way to start. It's a deep understanding, and it will break free a lot of the misconceptions that have been perpetrated upon us. So, good morning, Vivian. Welcome. Get me a little drink of water and wet my whistle. All right. The main tenet of witchcraft, the Wiccan Rede, is, and it harm none, do what thy will. And that means you don't harm yourself either. Do what you will, but do not do anything that will harm another. It is as simple as that. In April 1974, the Council of American Witches adopted a set of principles of Wiccan belief. I personally subscribe to those principles and list them here. Read them carefully, and we are going to. Number 1, we practice rites, attune ourselves with the natural rhythm of life forces marked by the phases of the moon and the seasonal quarters and cross quarters. And that would be our spring and autumn equinox, as well as our summer and winter solstice. Number 2, we recognize that our intelligence gives us a unique responsibility towards our environment. We seek to live in harmony with nature, in ecological balance, offering fulfillment to life and consciousness within an evolutionary concept. Number 3, we acknowledge a depth of power far greater than the apparent to the average person. Because it is far greater than the ordinary, it sometimes is called supernatural, but we see it as lying within that which is naturally potential to all. Number 4, we conceive the creative power in the universe as manifesting through polarity as masculine and feminine, and that the same creative power lies in all people and functions through the interaction of the masculine and feminine. We value neither above the other, knowing each is supportive to another. We value sex as pleasure and as a symbol of embodiment of life and as one of the sources of energies used in magical practice and religious worship. We look at sex as a natural thing. We don't pervert it. We utilize the energy sometimes to fulfill that greater purpose, but without all of the negative connotations that have been applied to sex. We remove the taboo of it because we see it as a natural of being in the human form. And again, we don't have mass orgies, and we don't, well, some of us dance naked around a fire, but we do it in the private of our own group, that where all people in that group are comfortable with that. So we're not the sex crazed individuals and doing all that crazy stuff. We're no different than anybody else that looks at sex, okay? So we just tend to harness and understand the energy. Everything is energy, right? Why not use it properly? Number 5, we recognize both outer worlds and inner or psychological worlds, sometimes known as the spiritual world, the collective unconsciousness, the inner planes, etc. And we see the interaction of these two dimensions, the basis of paranormal phenomena and magical exercise. We neglect neither dimension for the other, seeing both as necessary for our fulfillment. So our inner world is when we move in our inner world and we begin to shift things around in there by going into our darkness and uncovering our false beliefs and our hidden lies that we've not only been told, but we continue telling ourselves. Once we rearrange all that, when we bring it into our outer world through ritual and through intention, it begins to change the outer world. And when we begin to change our inner world, the outer world changes, and in doing so, we begin to create the harmony in our environment, and that stimulates others to say, wait a minute, what is going on in your life, man? I've seen amazing changes. And then that's where you get the give back. Okay, it's all about service, all right? All right. Number 6, we do not recognize an authoritarian hierarchy, but we do honor those who teach, respect those who share their greater knowledge and wisdom, and acknowledge those who have courageously given of themselves in leadership. Number 7, we see religion, magic, and wisdom in living as a being, as being united in the way one views the world and lives within it. A worldview and philosophy of life that we identify as witchcraft, the Wiccan rite. Now, not all of us are Wiccan. I will share that at a later date, just to let you know, but that doesn't change the fact, okay? Number 8, calling oneself a witch does not make a witch, but neither does heredity itself, nor the collecting of titles, degrees, and initiations. A witch seeks to control the forces within herself or himself. That makes life possible in order to live wisely and well without harm to others and in harmony with nature. That's one of my favorites right there. Number 9, we believe in the affirmation and fulfillment of life in a continuation of evolution and development of consciousness, giving meaning to the universe we know and our personal role within it. And that's that uniqueness we were talking about in the beginning there. Number 10, our only animosity towards Christianity or towards any other religion or philosophy of life is to the extent that the institutions have claimed it to be the only way and have sought to deny freedom to others and suppress other ways of religious practice and belief. And that's what we were talking about, how a lot of the wise ones have, and the wisdom keepers, come to some bad ends in the past. But we don't have to worry about that today, nor do we need to dwell on that. Okay, we also, as American witches, and I'll say this is globally as well, we as American witches, we need to start teaching to let go of what has happened and begin forgiving. Because when we continue to hold that animosity of what has been done in the Dark Ages and of the Inquisitions and things to that nature, when we continue to hold that animosity, then what we're actually doing is we're stifling our own growth. And we're holding ourselves and we're creating actually, whether you realize it or not, by holding on to that resentment, you are creating animosity in the world around you. So if you're finding, as a witch, if you're finding yourself still coming up against people and things or adversity and whatever, maybe it's time that you reflect within and start forgiving and letting go of some of that animosity and let go of that past. Yes, we learned from the past, but hanging on to it in resentment and animosity, you're just creating a future that, well, it's going to be a hard way to go, you know? You're not going to be able to get in that harmony and in that rhythm and begin to understand how to utilize these principles to live a better life in the unfoldment of that consciousness. It's just something to think about, okay? Number 11, as American witches, we are not threatened by debates on history of the craft, the origins of various terms, the legitimacy of various aspects of different traditions. We are concerned with our present and our future, kind of like what we just talked about. Number 12, we do not accept the concept of absolute evil, nor do we worship any entity known as Satan or the devil, as defined by Christian tradition. We do not seek power through the suffering of others, nor accept personal benefit can be derived only by denial to another. We are not all evil, are we? And number 13, we believe that we should seek within nature that which is contributory to our health and well-being, meaning seeking more organic living, growing our own food, turning to herbalism before we could turn to a doctor every single time, and seeing if we can find something on an herbal level, on a natural level, on a homeopathic level that will help heal us, whatever disease we may be experiencing, as well as going in psychologically and beginning healing our wounds and unifying ourselves within. So those are the 13 tenets of witchcraft, and we will be reading these for the month of October, so I'm excited for that. And again, we are going to be discussing witchcraft for the month of October and how what we do really isn't very different than what you hear in other faiths and other traditions. So good morning, Renee. So I'm excited for this because this is something I have studied my entire life. And yes, I am a witch, and it has nothing to do with titles or degrees, although I am a high priestess. And it has brought me great comfort, as well as bringing me into unification and acceptance of other religions and traditions and finding that common thread. And I do enjoy finding that common thread in all. So I am going to turn this over now to Reverend Micah, and he's going to do our healing service. Much love. I'll see you soon.
Good morning, everyone. Happy day to you. Now, something that Reverend Michelle just said actually caught my attention this morning, and now I see the synchronicity of it. She was speaking about nature itself, living in harmony with nature. So let me ask you, wherever you're living right now, whether it's here in Dayton or somewhere else in the United States, do you have a chance to just go walk on the earth a little, away from the concrete, the asphalt, and all of that stuff? Getting in touch with the trees, the green grass, little butterflies or other insects flying by, the birds. I think that's important for us to do for this healing service today. A lot of times, for me personally, I try to rely on my own willpower to heal myself. And I forget that the earth herself has such great healing force that she provides to us. She asks us, please use this energy to heal yourself, connect with me. So why don't we do that today? So, laying comfortably in bed, in a chair, wherever you may be, close your eyes with me. Take your first deep, healing, cleansing breath. Feel it fill up your esophagus and your stomach before it makes its way up to your lungs. And relinquish. Take another deep breath like that with me. Feel it fill you up. and let go. One more time, take that deep breath. And know that when you release this breath, you initiate the healing. Feel where your feet are connected. Visualize that you're planting your feet upon the earth herself. And it will be very beneficial to imagine a natural setting, the forest, the ocean, a nice mountain. The closer that you are with nature, the closer you are to her healing power. Any setting that you would like, create this space for yourself. As you take your deep breaths, notice that you feel an energy being pulled up from your feet. This energy itself comes from the center of the earth. It is the earth chakra. Visualize with me that when you take in your breath, a ray of energy projects up from this chakra to connect with the soles of your feet. The chakra paths in the arches of your feet. And now you are connected with the earth chakra. You may feel a warm, tingling sensation. On your next intake breath, visualize this energy reaching up your legs to make its way to your first chakra, the root. And as this energy connects with your chakra, envision that this red ball bursts in a brilliant light as it becomes activated and energized. Harmonize this energy awakened in your root. Let it become you. And on your next intake breath, draw this energy up from the earth chakra, through the root chakra, the way to the second chakra, the sacral. This chakra itself is the seat of our emotional body. And as we draw the energy from the earth, we become peace. See your sacral illuminate in brilliant light. The warm, soft glow of the orange setting sun. Feel the peace stirred within you. On your next intake breath, see this energy from the earth, through the root, through the chakra, making its way to your third chakra, the solar plexus. As brilliant and shining as the noon sun. This chakra is the seat of our will, our individuality, where we understand I am alive in this body. I am aware in this being. Let the yellow light of this chakra illuminate and expand. Now that we have connected with the earth, our aim goes to the sky. See the brilliant heavens in your mind. And see a ray of light extending from the heavens, connecting with a chakra 6 inches above your head. This is your gateway, the bridge between your crown and the infinite sky. And as this energy harmonizes, on your next intake breath, visualize this ray of light extending from the chakra above your head to your crown chakra right at the top of your head. See it activating in violet light, crystalline white light. This crown chakra is the way that we connect with that divine infinite, the source of all life, the expanding energy that leads to spiritual awareness. On your next intake breath, see this light from the infinite sky to the chakra above your head, through your crown, making its way to your third eye, in the center of your forehead, the indigo light that sees what is unseen. See it as a purple eye opening its lid. Let this indigo light expand and illuminate. On your next intake breath, see this energy descend into your throat chakra, where vibration rests. Let the soft blue sky light become illuminated and expansive. Let your voice be heard. Let truth ring out when you say, I am that which is I am. And finally, with energy from the earth and energy from the sky, on your last intake breath, see the bridge of the heart becoming illuminated with both energy paths. The heart, the seat of love, that which is the bridge between the upper world and the lower world. As the energies converge in your heart, the green crystalline light shoots from your chest outward into the world. This light is the lighthouse, which guides and heals and directs healing to yourself and to others. We now recite the spiritual prayer for healing. This first is directed to you. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. Your part is what you have done here, welcoming the healing love of the earth with the great expansiveness of the sky. Nature itself is the throne for this healing, the bed upon which you rest. Accept this healing. Let it move through you to break any shackles or bonds that you would hold to keep you down, to keep you in pain. Let them go now. Feel the weightlessness of this healing. Now bring to your mind's eye anyone you know, here or not, that could also benefit from this healing. Healing is at its best when it is shared with all. It is a gift that needs to be given. And now we recite the prayer for those who also need healing. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of infinite intelligence. Mother Earth, Father Sky, that which is nature, and all that I see and all that I feel, all that I hear and touch and taste. All that I am aware of in my spirit, and all that I embody in my soul. We thank you for this healing force that has removed all pain and illness and dis-ease from our body and minds and spirits. And we thank you for this healing energy that goes to those we love and care for, to also remove illness, dis-ease, and pain from their bodies, minds, and spirits. Let this healing be directed by love, always in love. May it be activated in our acts of kindness. May it guide us as a compass on our search for truth, that no matter what we come across, we will be further healed. In perfect love and in perfect trust, we say, so it is, so mote it be, and amen. Thank you all for sharing this healing service with me. Without further ado, we come to our message for the day from Reverend Michelle Hale.
Thank you, Reverend Micah. That was a wonderful healing service. Well, speaking of healing service, today we are going to discuss surrender. That's a scary word for a lot of us. A lot of us don't even know what it means, or we hear the word and we ask ourselves, surrender to what? What are we surrendering? Well, first let's look at the word itself. The word surrender, to give, in parentheses, oneself up to some influence, course, emotion. From the Old English, surrenderin. Sur means over, above. Render has many meanings, but in this context, it means to give in return or requital. Now let's see what the word requital means. Requital means a return or reward for service, kindness, etc. A retaliation for a wrong, injury, etc. Something given or done as repayment, punishment, etc. in return. So a lot of times when we think of surrender, we think if I surrender a part of myself, or I surrender a material object, we do it in the resignation of something's going to come to me and I'm doing it to receive that something. And we have a saying in Magick, and that is said, don't lust for a result. Don't lust for a result. And this means that we surrender, or we have acts of kindness, or we set intentions, or we do something for somebody without expectations of a result. And if a result comes from it, then it is of the divine will. Okay? Our will is to be used in surrendering it, letting it go, knowing that it is done. A lot of times when we practice our intentions, we just had a new moon pass us, and that is the time of setting intentions and what you want to grow, and in the waxing phase of the moon, what you want to draw to you. And there's nothing wrong with any of this. There's nothing wrong with practicing magic, setting intentions. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But first of all, you have to check your intentions, and you got to check your motivations behind your intentions. Okay? So that way, you know you're not harming anybody with those intentions. You kind of look at the scenarios and, okay, this isn't going to hurt anyone. This isn't going to hurt myself. It's not going to hurt the environment. I'm not taking something from someone else to get what I want. And then when we burn that parchment paper at the new moon, that is a form of surrendering it. We've put our energy on the parchment. We've written down what we want to grow, unfold, bring into our lives. Now it's time to surrender it to the great goddess and the great God. But many times, and this is a mistake in a lot of magical practice, is we set those intentions, we set out our desires, but we keep trying to take it back and tell the universe how to deliver it to us. We keep saying, you know, instead of just when we burn the parchment or when we set it free in whatever method we choose to do it, pardon me, hold on. What we tend to do is, instead of allowing it to unfold organically with the universe, we snatch it back and we start either reevaluating how we want to orchestrate it, or we weren't really happy with the way we worded it. And so we start nitpicking it, and we start looking at it and saying, well, I want it this way, and I want it to come from here, and this is what I really need. And we start picking it apart. And what happens when we do that with our intentions is we tend to get in the way of it coming to us. Because then we begin telling the universe exactly how we want it, how we want to receive it, where we want to receive it. And when you do that, you narrow into a small little hole And this is why so many times we'll get trickles of what we've set out in intentions, but we don't get the bigger comeback that we were hoping for. And that's because you didn't truly surrender it. You had to pull it back, and you took your will back instead of surrendering it to the divine will, taking your will back, and you were trying to orchestrate exactly how it's manifesting. Well, if that was the case, then you wouldn't need to do the ritual because you would already know how to do it for yourself. In surrendering, it is something that we do because we seek to do the will and unfold the will of our soul as well as our divine self in harmony with our mission and our purpose on this planet. And the only way that we can do this is by letting it go completely. And so when we set our intentions at the new moon, when we catch ourselves after the new moon, after we've burned the parchment or however you choose to do it, bury it. There's just many different ways of working with intentions on the lunar energies. But however you choose to do it, it's like what we don't want to do. The best analogy I can give you is when a farmer plants a seed into the ground, he doesn't go back and dig it up to see if the seed sprouted. If he was to do that, every time he would do it, he would disturb the soil on which the seed is beginning to root itself. And sometimes some of our manifestations don't occur in the time frame that we think it needs to occur. Okay? What we must realize is a lot of times if something hasn't manifested for us, that's a sure sign that there's still work that we need to do inside to clear out doubt, to clear out unworthy feelings, to clear out fear of receiving what we want, what we're desiring, what we're looking to manifest in our lives. We have this intellectual idea of the things we want, but rarely do people pay attention to what their gut tells them. We've got 3 brains in our body. We have the one between our ears, we have the one in our heart, and we have the one in our gut. And science has proven that there are brain cells that are actually more intelligent than the one between our ears and our heart and then in our gut. Gut feeling. Think with your heart. The mind is nothing more than a receptacle for memory and for reason and for, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, it's a transmitter. It sends out signals and it receives signals, okay? So if we're digging up that seed to see if it's taken root, then there's something within us telling me that obviously I don't trust in the divine will and that I have to go back to see if things are working the way I want them to work. Well, we don't need to tell a seed how to grow. And we don't need to tell our intentions how to grow either, nor do we need to tell the goddess and the great God how to do their work. What we need to do, our part that is necessary, is we need to surrender it. We need to let it go. And so a practice that I do whenever I catch myself wanting to dig the little seed up is I let it go again. Every time it comes into my mind, I let it go again. And I let it go again until I can get into that faith that something greater than myself hears me and is bringing what I seek into manifested form. But when we set these intentions, most of us set them with our minds. And we don't pay attention to how we feel in our heart and our gut. And therein lies the knowing whether you feel you deserve something or not. You may want it, but do you honestly feel you're worthy of it? You want to be worthy of it, but is that what you feel? When I set my intentions, whenever I'm doing any sort of magic, when I set my intentions, I check my heart. First of all, I come from my heart. I don't come from my mind, my brain. I come from my heart. Okay. I see if it's something that lights me up, if it's going to benefit the church, if it's going to benefit my family, my community. Do I need help? A greater help in doing this? Because if it was something I could do, like I said before, I would have already done it. So obviously it's something that I need that unseen force to assist me in. So if I'm asking that unseen force for assistance, I better start putting some faith into that unseen force, right? And you can check where your faith level is by how your gut feels. Do you get a twist in your gut? Do you get that kind of sinking feeling? I really want this, but I just don't know if I can achieve it. Well, that's telling you, if you get the twist, that's telling you that there is a hidden belief inside of you that you feel unworthy to receive it. And in the law of vibration, okay, what we vibrate is what we get back. Okay, and it kind of falls in the law of as above, so below as well. So if I'm vibrating, I'm picturing in my head what I want, and I would really like it in my heart, but my gut's twisting. Before I even do the magic, I rearrange that within. And how I do that is I go in and ask myself questions. Why do you feel you're afraid? Or why do you feel you don't deserve this, Michelle? And that's where I check my motives again. I make sure that I'm doing this for divine reason and not self-serving reasons. Okay? And if it's still for divine reasons, then I ask myself, then why do you feel like you're unworthy to receive it? And I have to go within myself to discover these hidden these hidden beliefs so that I can reveal the light of truth. Well, I am worthy. You're worthy. But my gut will always tell me what my belief is. And in that belief is what we vibrate into the universe. And when we vibrate that belief into the universe, that's what we're going to get back. No matter how bad we can see it in our minds, no matter how bad we want it in our heart, what our gut tells us is if we're in alignment, in harmony with it. And this is where we begin to raise our vibrational frequency to meet the energy of the divine will within us and get into the harmony of that by lining up heart, mind, and gut. And everything is like, okay, this feels good. There's no twist. I'm excited. I got the happy little butterflies in my tummy. My heart is just expanded. I can visualize it. And when you can get all three of those brains lined up in the body unit, then you know you're in the harmony. Then you know you're in true surrender, because now you believe that you deserve, that you're worthy, and that you will let it go because you know that which is the unseen world of the universal presence will deliver that, because now in alignment with it. We do these spiritual practices every day, things like doing the LBRP and using the LBRP, and that's Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. And what it does, it's a ritual that clears out and neutralizes a room so that you can sit in the inner circle, the inner sanctum, without the influence of any other energies that may be present. It clears out the space so that you can really get into yourself without other influences. Because there's a lot of energies going around, and a lot of the beliefs, a lot of the thoughts, a lot of the feelings don't even belong to you. And this is why it is so important to go within and begin unleashing that divine truth of who you are, so that you can rid yourself of these false beliefs or these influences that are trying to steer you in a different direction. They're not evil. They're not, some can be bad, yes, but it's mostly just energies and thought forms of the people in the environment around you. And so sometimes we have to clear our space in order to get into the inner sanctum and begin unfolding Begin understanding heart, mind, and gut. Begin learning about the magic that you carry within you. This is what true witchcraft is. It's not just about candle magic and spells. And true, wise one witchcraft is this work right here. Because this is where the magic begins. It begins within you. If you want to influence your outer world, yeah, you can do it with spells. But for me, as a high priestess and of the training that I have received, that's the easy way of doing things. That doesn't hold me accountable. That doesn't hold me responsible, even though it tells us, be mindful about what you're doing and harm none. Not all of us go into it with that understanding because we don't know our motives. We don't know our true intentions. We don't know ourselves. And the one thing in magic and all the traditions is it teaches know thyself. And that's what meaning of witchcraft truly is. Knowing who you are, knowing what your function is, knowing what your purpose, discovering yourself, uncovering the veil of Isis, and allowing yourself to see eternity in your place in it. That's the true witchcraft. That's the true meaning of being a witch, is understanding that alignment within you and creating the magic from within outwardly, instead of just trying to manipulate the outer world. We like to influence, not manipulate. Manipulation is black magic. I don't practice black magic. I know of it. I have studied it, but I don't practice it. I practice gray magic, or I practice white magic. And a lot of times in our intentions and when we're doing spellcraft, a lot of times what we do and what we don't realize is that we are going on our emotions of what we think we desire or what we want to influence. And in doing so, we are working black magic because we're seeking to manipulate instead of influence. We're seeking to bend the will of someone else. And that's black magic. And there are repercussions for it. Be prepared to take responsibility in whatever magic you're performing. And this is why we get into heart, mind, and gut. This is why we surrender to the divine these intentions, this magic that we're performing, these ceremonies, these rituals. Why do them if you don't have faith in the divine receiving and bestowing? You have to feel and know and become the divinity within you. And that's what you begin to live. That's what it means to be right-wise. As Reverend Micah spoke of last week, righteousness. That's what that means. Living from that divinity, living from that divine self, that soul self, that higher self, that star that you are and shining. That's what it truly means to be a witch. And let me tell you, wow, you are worth it. You are worth delving into that darker aspect within you and bringing your two halves of light and dark together into that unified totality of oneness, where you don't see so much goddess or God, but you know that there's just is. And that we don't have to define or compartmentalize, but we can be in the rhythm with. That what we think and what we feel, we create. And we take the responsibility in that creation. That's the meaning of a witch. That's the magic of a witch. And that's true witchcraft. And that's how we can change the world. And if you look at all the spiritual traditions, They're saying the exact same thing. Everybody uses a little different terminology. We need to stop getting hung up on the verbiage and start getting into the golden thread. Finding that common bond that we can unite, and it doesn't, get to a point that we don't care if somebody worships the goddess or somebody worships Jesus. We don't care. They teach the same thing. There's no separation. There's only wisdom and understanding. And that's what perceives separation sometimes, because those who are ignorant in the differences and in the separation, we've got to forgive because they're ignorant. They're in ignorance. They don't want to grow. They want to latch on to something that somebody tells them instead of seeking that within and knowing thyself. Be all that you can be, no matter what faith you believe in. Interestingly enough, there's all kind of witches out there. I've noticed online that there's Christian witches. There are spiritualist witches. There is a Japanese version of witchcraft that's called, what is it? Shinto, that's right. And Reverend Micah tends to lean into that. There's American witchcraft. There's European witchcraft. There's all sorts of sects within the religion. Let's stop looking at the difference and let's see what we can do coming together. Because that's part of our uniqueness. Okay? So, I hope I was able to shed a little light on this today. And I hope I was able to help you think about surrendering. Quit taking it back. When we give something out, quit taking it back. One of the things I have been doing as of recently is with the arthritic pain that I tend to experience sometimes. I notice that the days that when I wake up and I assess my body and I can feel a pain, I'll go into surrender. I surrender this pain. If this is divine will, then so be it. Because I don't know what I've created in a past lifetime, why I'm experiencing this. There's things that I've done in this lifetime, broken bones and things of that nature is why I'm experiencing this. And yeah, I do my part to look to nature to find alternative healing methods, and they shouldn't be alternative, natural healing methods to help. But I noticed that the mornings that I wake up and I surrender my pain to the divine will that if this is what must be, then so be it. My pain lessens every time. Every time. So begin surrendering those little bumps and bruises. Begin accepting divine will. That doesn't mean punishment. My arthritis is not punishment. It's there to remind me to surrender, to let go, to look to nature, to do my part in getting in the harmony and the rhythm. Taking responsibility, even if I don't remember why it's occurring. I must know, because there's only life, that at some part I brought this through cause and effect upon myself. And today I'm okay with that. Today I surrender it. And every time I surrender my life, my will, as far as using my will to turn inward and to seek out that divine, that's the proper use of my will. My proper use of my will is taking action upon the intuitiveness that I receive from the divine. I surrender myself into service. And I surrender my pain. And my pain goes away. If maybe not just for a day, but each day that's all I have. So in the morning, I must remember to start my day off in surrender without lusting for a result. Surrender your day and watch how easy the flow opens up for you. I hope you have a very blessed Sunday. I am going to let Reverend Micah return with some mini announcements and do the benediction. Much love. Have a great day. And remember, when you hear the word witch, don't cringe. Ask questions. Everybody sees it differently. You might learn something. Be teachable. Blessed be. Have a great day.
Hello again, everyone. Feels like forever since I've seen you. Wow, that's I liked that sermon from Reverend Michelle. It gives me a lot of food for thought on what I think it means to surrender and what true magic actually is. So thank you very much for that. Well, as far as announcements go, Reverend Michelle already announced that we will be having readings in the park at Sugar Creek Metro Park October 19th. This event will go from 11 to about 5 p.m. So we're going to have a nice 6-hour stretch there. We'll have apple bobbing. We'll have the 50-50 raffle. We'll have booths about information about the church. We have 6 readers available.
We'll also have costume contests for children.
Yes, costume contests for children because it is the season for the spooky, is it not? So we have 6 readers available. $20 gets you a reading from one reader. $50 gets you a reading from all 5, or from 5 of them actually. So I don't sleep. You got to go for the good deal there. Now, as part of another announcement, I also want to say that part of what we at All Spiritual Life Center love for this page, we love being on this video to share our ideas and inspirations that come to us throughout the week, and what we want to share with all of you. Now, I want to ask every one of you a personal question. What is it that is on your heart that you want to share with us? What's something that you would like to hear about on Sunday or on one of the videos we might make throughout the week? We love topics and we love ideas. I personally do. I like comments. I like the likes. I love the shares. Please help us help you. What is it that you want to hear about? I would personally love to know. How about you, Reverend Michelle?
Oh, yes, I love it.
We love it. So please show us and tell us exactly what you would like to hear about. What are topics that interest you? And we will go from there. That is really the big announcement that I had that I wanted to share with you. Are there any other announcements you have, Reverend Michelle?
No, not at the moment.
All right. Well, then let's settle in for our benediction then. Mother, Father, God, Goddess, infinite one and divine source, thank you for this gathering that we've been able to have here today. Thank you for helping us remember what true magic is and exactly how we can become more embodied with your divine presence as we surrender more of ourselves, and to understand what the true meaning of surrender is. Let us carry this feeling and this knowledge throughout this week, knowing that whenever comes a situation that we want to have so much control of, we surrender and choose surrendering instead, so that we may know a little more inner peace. Thank you very much. Blessed be to you all. So mote it be, and so it is. We thank you for gathering with us. Come, sweetie.
You guys have a great week.
We
love
do.
Seeing you.
Yes, we do. We love seeing every one of you. And until next time, peace be with you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.